Hey everybody, a few weeks back I stepped out in 100-degree heat with the X-Half camera in my pocket, and it hasn't left my pocket ever since. Take a look at some of the photos I've been shooting. Here's what I've learned after almost a month of living with this tiny little film-inspired camera. The day the camera arrived, I took it to a small town nearby named Bordentown, New Jersey, and I shot a whole bunch of photos. I used a couple different film sims, and I shot entire rolls in the film mode. And I thought that was going to be how I was going to use the camera. I want to talk to you today about the things I learned over the past few weeks. First and foremost, it's not just for film mode. This is my go-to camera when I see something out there that I might want to take a picture of. When I'm going outside and I know I'm going to be some place where there's going to be something cool, this is in my pocket. And the thing that I like is the ability to be able to choose a film sim spontaneously. It is really a fun way to take the photos, and it allows me to do things in a more casual way than film does without feeling like I'm cheating using digital. Now, just for comparison, I do have the original X100. There they are, side by side, X100, X-Half. I will warn you that they share the name only. These cameras were made for different audiences. If you're a digital photographer and you want to get the whole rangefinder aesthetic and enjoy using one of the most amazing viewfinders available on a digital camera today, get an X100. You will not be let down. Whereas if you are a film photographer and you want to play around with digital, or if you're a digital photographer and you want to get the film feel and you want something that's just fun to throw in your bag and take with you, go for one of these. I really like the ability to be able to just pick and choose my film sim from this little screen right here, the one that looks like the side of a can of film. And let's just say I walk up to a flower. I want to shoot that with punchy Velvia. So I just slide until I find, there it is, Velvia. And then if I say, well, I've got something like a rusty pickup truck, let me go and find something a little bit different. We can slide through these this way and eventually find ourselves with something like classic neg, or nostalgic neg will do. That is really cool. This little slidey thing, for some reason, it makes it more fun. I know the other Fuji X cameras have dials on them, especially the newer ones will have the modes right on the dial. This is better. The fact that it shows you the little, I love it. One thing I didn't do was shoot a lot of film mode. It locks you in for 36 frames, and no, I don't want to shoot 36 frames of Velvia. I like the feeling. I like the advancing the film. I like the way the camera hides the image, but I really don't like being locked into 36 frames. So that was something which turned me off of doing film mode all the time. And I found myself doing 2 or 3 shots here and there. Like, oh, look, here's this cool looking plant that's sitting on the dining room table with the sun shining through this leaf. I'm not going to find another cool photo, another 35 cool photos to match with that, but let me just take this one right now. So that's the kind of shooting that I was doing for the past few weeks. Something else that I really liked was the grain. Now, I did a couple of shorts where I showed grain in, first I did Acros, and I used the Acros film sim to take several photos, and I compared those with what real Acros looks like. And when I did the photos, I did one without grain. That's not the way to use this camera. This camera needs grain, but the switches they give you are heavy-handed. And even when I turned everything, there's 2 options. When I turned them both to their weakest, the grain was still heavier than what I would expect to see in real acros. And it wasn't a problem because this is a half-frame camera. Just like this is a half-frame camera. The photos that this Pentax 17 takes, those photos have pretty chunky grain because you're magnifying half of the film. And so because of that, it doesn't seem wrong to have more present grain in the photos. Just know that when you turn those grain modes on, you're not getting the same kind of grain that somebody who shot those films years ago would be expecting. I did some experiments using color film, and they looked great, but when I compared them to photos I shot using the old standby Kodak Gold 200, the favorite of vacationers throughout the 1990s, the grain was much more pronounced in the photos I took with the X-Half. And when I shot Kodak Ektar, for example, the same thing. The photos were a lot more grainy in the Velvia shots that I took on the X-Half than in shots that I took with real Kodak Ektar, for example. But that didn't diminish from the awesomeness of the grain appearance. It gives the photos a film realistic look, and it sells it. I'm really happy with that. There's some features that really surprised me. One of them, for example, this camera will focus at 4 inches away. That is one chunky fist of mine. If I make a fist and put that between the camera and the subject, just like that, I am guaranteed that the camera will be able to focus on that subject. Even a camera like this, the strap shows the minimum distance for the Pentax 17. And that's pretty far. This guy, 4 inches. I like that. That's pretty awesome. Other features, I already told you about the film sim display here. That's fun. That really sells it. I like it. It's. I thought it would be a gimmick. It's not. This thing is pretty darn cool. Other things I liked, this the aperture ring. That's great. I really liked being able to choose a wide open aperture and take a photo, and it behaved just like a wide open aperture. Same thing with the tighter apertures. This is it's very well made. It's got this little lever on there, and it just feels good. I liked that. I never used the manual focus. Didn't use that. Can't speak to manual focus. I like the exposure compensation dial. That's pretty cool. When I needed it, I used it, and it worked just fine. The cocking lever, that's really fun. I liked it. It has different modes. If you're in regular shooting mode, it will do the diptych, where you have 2 photos side by side. If you are in film mode, of course, it's going to cock the shutter. Things that were a little gimmicky, the timestamp on the photos, that looked cool for one day, and then I turned it off. I don't know. One of the problems that Fujifilm should probably address is that on a black and white photo, like the Acros ones, it shows an orange timestamp. Seriously, black and white film is going to have a white timestamp if you use it in a camera that does the old school timestamp method. So they should probably fix that. Another issue with putting the timestamp on there, besides it looking really old school, which it's not a problem, is that if your photo needs to be cropped and adjusted, it's going to rat you out. People will look at the photo and they'll see the timestamp there at a wonky angle, and they will know that you cropped and slightly fixed a tilted horizon or something like that. So I don't use that. It's fun once in a while. Same thing as with some of the filters. The filters were really cool, but it's something you got to do just for one photo or another. It's not something I shoot a whole roll of. I used, for example, I shot the light leak with a diptych of my wife's piano and my bass guitar. And I think this came out spectacular. Another filter that I used was the expired film. That was great in small doses. So a few frustrations, things that weren't perfect. The power on time is really slow. This thing takes forever to come up. That hopefully can be fixed in firmware. It should be easy to go into like a sleep mode, and then you just maybe press the lever. Like if I turn it on here and see how long it takes to come on. I wanted to maybe go to sleep, and then I press that lever in and just have it bling, come to life and get ready to go. I don't want to have to wait 5 seconds in order to take a shot. So that's something I hope they can fix in firmware. Something else, the cocking lever, this one, when you cock it, it's unresponsive if you do it too quickly. And as a film photographer, we cock the shutter, and I'm going to use a real one here. We do like that. You shoot, cock. It's just second nature. We're flipping the lever as soon as we press the shutter release. And you do that on this camera, it's not going to recognize that you cocked the lever. And it's going to be in a mode where it's like, you haven't cocked the lever yet. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Fujifilm can fix that in multiple ways through firmware. One of them would be for them to write it in such a way where it detects the lever. It's checking for the lever while it's still processing the shot, which I think is happening. I think it's processing the shot, and it doesn't check for the lever till it's done. But the other thing they can do that will really help is if they play a audio cue, the sound like that. Wouldn't it be cool if this camera would make that same sound as it cocked the shutter? I'd love it if Fujifilm would put that in firmware. Something else that bothered me that I think they can fix, the iOS app. It works when it works, but it crashes, and then you launch it and the connection fails, and then it crashes again. But once it's working, it does everything very nicely. So that app is beta quality. I hope that they are able to polish the Fuji X-Half app and get that thing working right, because that's the way I enjoyed using the camera the most. No, I didn't want to rip the card out of the bottom of the camera. That sort of takes the fun out of it. I want to just turn the camera on, go into my iPad, and go to the Fuji X-Half app and import my photos. And when you do that, and when everything works, those photos go right into your Apple Photos library, and everything works great. Again, that's fine if the app is rock solid. It's buggy, and let's hope they can get that fixed. I think they will. Something that you can't do very easily that bothers me is you can't tell if a photo was shot with, say, a classic chrome or with Velvia. Now, looking at it, of course, Velvia will stand out, but how do you tell the difference? Well, it's in the EXIF data, but if you look at that inside the Photos app on your phone or on your Mac or something, they don't show you all that detail. Furthermore, the Photos app actually makes its own copy of the photo or its own copy of the metadata. And so even if you export it and use a tool to look at the metadata, you will not see the metadata that shows which film sim was being used. The only way to do this is to look at the original photo, either on the card or by exporting the original photo from the Photos app and then using a tool like EXIF tool to look at the full metadata. And in there, you'll see something such as classic chrome as the film mode. And there you go. It's there. It's just hard to find. And probably the easiest way to do it, just go into the Fuji X-Half app on your phone or on your iPad when you imported it. That app has a little link that you can click at the top right corner that will open up the details of the photo, the information, and it will show you which film sim was used very prominently. So that's where you can find it. My concern is 5 years from now, if I've got these photos all sitting in Apple Photos and I don't have anything inside the Fuji Half app anymore for some reason, I still want to be able to find, oh, what SIM did I use? I already talked about the Fuji X-Half app and its bugginess as being an issue, but it's also, the app is also one of the strengths. It's well laid out. The workflow is nice. I prefer it to using the card. I like to just leave the card in the camera. It's not intrusive and it's reliable when it works. Let me talk about some other things I really like too. Because these cameras, the X100 and the X-Half, have the same lineage, they share the same batteries. This is a X100 battery. I've got many of these because my X Pro 2 uses the same battery. So you can use your same batteries that you have for an X100 or an X Pro 2 or some other X cameras. And that is going to give this X-Half great battery life. You can keep this thing going forever. This camera has earned its spot in my pocket. It fits the film mindset without really, without failing in some kind of lame way. It gives you what looks like film photos that don't feel lame. And the experience is, it's enjoyable. It's something that, one of the reasons I like film photography is I'm fiddling around with something and I'm looking and making decisions about the camera I'm working with. With a digital camera, you just spray and pray and you probably got a good shot in there. With this, you're still thinking about it. I love it. The thing works great. It's the size. This is tiny. This it just fits right in a pocket. I like the aperture ring that's got the exposure compensation, this cocking lever, that close focus, the battery life. These are all really strong things. And man, the way you choose your SIMs. And if you didn't figure it out from my film half frame camera here, I really like the vertical frame format because that helps me to get my mind out of a rut. When I'm shooting with a camera like this, the X100, my brain is working in landscape mode and I want to get it in portrait mode. And this little guy does exactly that. Something I haven't even tried yet is I haven't done any portraiture with this. The Sims will do great portraiture, and I'm looking forward to shooting portrait shots. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in hot summer weather mode, taking pictures of flowers that haven't withered and buildings and statues and in hot sunlight. But as the seasons move on, I'm looking forward to using this little guy in the fall. Man, I'll get some great leaf photos. The Velvia is going to be great. I have had so much fun with the X-Half. So I hope that helps you decide if this little guy is right for you. Tell me in the comments what you think about the X-Half. Have you shot it yet? Have you held one in your hands? What do you think? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? That's all I got for you today. Now, go out and shoot a roll. Thank you for watching.